Gotcha.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, it was probably about 10 years ago, maybe 11 years ago, I met my guest. This is Kevin Ankeny. He's a professor of broadcasting at SUNY Adirondack, although when we met, it was Adirondack Community College, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago, sure was.
It was. Oh, a lot of water under that bridge. Kevin is, just over the years, has just nurtured a lot of students interested in the broadcasting field, whether it's television, in film, or in radio. Your name comes up a lot, Kev. You have a wonderful reputation.
Thanks.
You really do. And it so happens Kevin and John Strong are working together on something called the People's Pixel Project, which is why Kevin is here. Kev, this is probably the 8th year?
Yeah, 8th year for the People's Pixel Project. Essentially a local film festival for local filmmakers, local being 100-mile radius of the village of Lake George, which is where the Lake George Arts Project is located.
And this is under the auspices of the Lake George Arts Project, right?
Correct, one of their events. Of course, people know them as their signature event, the Jazz Festival in the fall, but
Right.
this is another thing they do, and we do it for 8 years every spring.
Right, affectionately referred to as P3?
P3, yeah.
Right, the
it's
People's
a mouthful.
Pixel Project. Yeah, you're telling me it's a mouthful. And I just want to cycle back on that. This is a juried show, but not in the sense that there's first prize or second or third. They're just looking for the best films within a 100-mile radius. And before we went on air, Kevin was saying to me that you wouldn't believe the talent within a 100-mile radius, right?
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
There are a group of high school filmmakers in Niskayuna that do really great stuff, and there are people who do video as a career or an avocation, and they submit things. And last year we had a couple of faculty members from Plattsburgh who are not in the media program there, but in the English department, and they submitted a really beautiful sort of day in the life of the city of Plattsburgh. It was very cool.
Oh, man, Now, it's open to all categories, right?
Correct. There are a
some
variety.
clever names in here, but let's go to some of the key categories. Documentaries,
Right, which we call Get
Real. Right, yeah, got it.
Yeah, so the documentary. We also do narrative, which is a character, actors portraying characters. We do music video, which we call tunes. It has to be original music, so you can't just grab the latest track from the biggest bands, but a lot of times it's local musicians, so another way to showcase local music. We also do animation. And we do experimental, where if a person doesn't really know what category to put it in, sometimes it's somebody just trying out a new editing technique, or maybe they bought a new lens for their camera and they go out in their backyard on a Saturday afternoon and shoot some video and experiment with exposure and aperture and all that kind of stuff. So it's a variety of different types of films. And we even have a film for under 14, so we try to encourage junior high and grade school kids to get involved too.
Boy, anything you can do to encourage the arts with our younger generation, boy, I'm a real fan of that. You learn so much about yourself, right?
Right.
You know this. You've been involved with SUNY Adirondack for how many years now? A lot of years, right?
This is my 19th year at the
Oh,
college.
my God, Kevin. And you know what I'm talking about here firsthand. These kids get an opportunity to really learn a lot about themselves, don't they?
Right. Yeah, and I think for the younger generation, video is so natural and so intuitive and part of their everyday life that it's a chance for them to experience an art form that they're already familiar with.
Oh, you talk about that. I'm just reminded, I have a 3-year-old granddaughter who, when she's got her iPad, shows me what to do, right? It actually doesn't take much if you ask anybody around here. I've always gone to the heart of what I believe that film, and I'm sure you agree with this, really needs to accomplish. Technology today enables us to do a lot very quickly on the production side, but if the essence of the story isn't there, if the narrative isn't there and telling the story properly, you don't have it.
Right, exactly. And I think that's what we look for when we're judging the films is this story. Will it appeal to an audience? Does it capture our imagination or our emotions, and then we also look at production value. So when we have both of those things going on in a project, then it's usually something that makes it into the show.
Yeah, I bet. There's a committee of 5, right? Didn't you tell me that?
The small committee is 5. There's a panel of 5 that review the films and select the films for the show, and then there's a slightly larger group of people that are involved in the planning of the venue and the date and promotion and all that stuff.
All right, you filmmakers, all ages out there, make certain that you get your entry in by March 1st. There's no cost involved?
Right. You can go to the lakegeorgearts.org website, download the PDF. It's a form you can fill out, and you can email it directly to the folks at the Art Center. And there is no admission, or I should say there's no registration fee or entry fee.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah,
and you don't even have to mail a DVD. You can just send us a link to your YouTube video, your Vimeo video, and we'll view it from there. And if it's selected for the show, then we'll probably request a DVD. So that's how we display them or show them to the audience. And this year it's April 30th. It's a Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. at the Hyde Collection, which is right on Warren Street in Glens Falls. They've got a beautiful little auditorium.
We'll do it in the auditorium, right? Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing is a lot of people have done these projects for years and they've put them on YouTube and they can see how many views they've gotten. But when you're in a room with 100 people and everybody gasps at the same time, I think that's a really cool experience.
Well, that's when you know it. It's one thing to work at, just to chase this for a second. We do it here all the time. When we produce something, it's one thing to watch it isolated, but put it in the environment that it will actually live in, and you really get to know where the strengths and weaknesses are in what you're producing. This is a wonderful opportunity. Again, all ages, whether it's narration, music, documentary, experimental, animation. All the categories are open. No time limit either, right?
They're short films because we have a 2-hour limit. Generally, we're looking for films that are, with the exception of the Bermuda short, which is a longer film. Those can be up to 14 or 15 minutes. But generally, the films that we tend to get are in the 3 to 4 minute, 5 minute. But we don't really have a hard and fast rule. If it's good, technically as well as aesthetically, we'll throw it in.
It's good, meaning is the story there, is a narrative there, is it well blocked, is it color right, or black and white, whatever it happens to be right. LakeGeorgeArts.org is where you can download the registration form. No charge involved with this. It's a wonderful event, and it's going to be at the Hyde. Well, Kevin, thank you very much for coming in.
Well, thanks for having us.
And I can't wait to see these films. I really can't.
All right, great.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.